I have one more question, and it's how much, if at all, do you think CU's season has been affected by not only Shedeur and Travis not being around any longer, which are two, I think you can say, irreplaceable dudes for starters, but the fact that their head coach was going through bladder cancer throughout the entire offseason, that had to have taken him away from what he does, I would assume. And that he's probably never going to admit that, but I would imagine that has been a lot harder to overcome than anybody can even dream of.
Yeah, that's a good question, and something I've not thought of. That has not even crossed my radar. So that is a great question. And now just thinking of it, right? It has to have, right? Like it is happy that, the Deion, his presence is so well known. Everybody knows when he walks into the building, everybody knows when he's there. It is just that huge presence about him. And It has not been there all offseason. And again, like you said, Travis and Shedeur, not only that, though, they have the leading BJ Green was their sack leader last year, first team all Big 12. All these dudes that were leaders are gone. 3 wide receivers, Travis Hunter included, 3 total wide receivers that have made NFL rosters. And those were huge leaders as well. The leadership, I think they're searching for that. And again, maybe that was something that could have been developed if Prime was there over the offseason, and he wasn't. He was fighting cancer, and again, God bless him for pulling through. And but again, it probably has taken it. I'd be foolish to sit up here, and even he would, to be like, it has not affected the team. Yeah, absolutely, it has, and that is something maybe we as Colorado fans need to give a little bit of grace on, because until you said that, it hadn't crossed my mind. I guess for some odd reason, maybe too focused on the X's and O's and the day in, day out playing of it, right? Yeah. We've seen him during camp, but all those the downtime when those leaders are developed, right? Whether it be in the weight room, 5 a.m. workouts, those things, right? Where Prime is in there preaching and preaching and preaching what they need to see. It's been missing, regardless of what we want to say. So that is a good point, and something, I've not thought of. So thanks for that. That is, holy cow. And, even here in Colorado, the other media outlets we have here covering Colorado, that has not been brought up, which is extremely valid. And again, that is just crazy that I feel really crazy that I missed that, though. So that is a great point, Cody. Really great point. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
He's definitely an irreplaceable leader of that program and that university in so many ways. So I just figured he probably was dearly missed and maybe wasn't able to comb through things as thorough as he used to with the portal and recruiting and things like that.
Yeah, and normally they hit pretty hard in the portal. Prime wasn't there, and again, the portal wasn't as successful as it has been in the past. So that's another piece of it as well. Again, they still got their players, they still did what they needed to, filling holes and this or that. I was kind of under the thing like, oh well, the NIL is probably what it was. I didn't even put those two together until right now as we get going, because now their portal was lacking this past offseason. So or not up to standards as we have seen.
Yep.
The first couple years. So
like you said, he'll never admit it. And, I don't blame him for that, but it has to have affected some stuff, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that is, I'm, that got, me going a little bit thinking, the wheels turning. So, maybe we didn't account for that. And again, we didn't, I should say. I didn't. So, great point.